What's up, beasties? It's Triple B, and I am excited. We have an awesome show, an awesome episode of Beast Friends Forever. I've got this beast next to me. Wait, not that way. This way, right here. Author Nick Horvath, Sledge himself. How you doing, Nick?
Oh, awesome, man. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm always stoked to talk about writing.
Heck yeah. Thanks for coming on. I'm pumped, man. It's been a long time coming. I'm glad we finally were able to figure it out.
Yeah, hell yeah. I know the time zone thing's crazy, but we made it happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. We got a lot of people in here already. Let's shout some people out. We got Kenneth Gray, the drawer.
Sledge fanatic.
That's right. We got Molly in here, who just got your book. She's pumped to check it out.
Let's go.
Grimfell's in here. Oh yeah, get those
Man,
sledgehammers going.
Death metal badass.
Oh heck yeah. And then Josh from Already Overbooked is in here. Oh yeah.
Cool, man.
Total beast. Timothy, how's it going, man? Oh, thanks for popping in, even though you can't stay. We appreciate it, man. And then Tim McKay's in here too. What's up, Tim?
Double Tims. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, all the Tims. Oh man, so sweet having you on, dude. I have to say, like, even in just these pictures, I feel very small right now. Somehow you're towering over me in a side by side, and we're sitting down. I don't know. You gotta put your camera down, man. Come on. I need to sit on some books or something.
I don't know what I can do. Push it back.
We're good. I'm just kidding. I just gotta get taller. That's the problem. Oh man. So yeah, so much I want to ask you about, but I want to start off. First, let's talk about your book, and then we'll get into your Kickstarter. But right here, this beauty right here, which Nick was awesome enough to send me this sweet book plate. Look at that bad boy right there. That is sweet. Those are awesome, man. That's the coolest book plate I've ever seen.
You can thank Offer Cuban for the idea. He's got his own pod, the Speakeasy. Got a shout out Offer, but he was the one like, you need a book plate because I'm in New Zealand, so sending a paperback is ridiculous. It's like $30 per book, but you can send a little piece of paper. It's a great idea. So for people that put the book, I can send them an autograph.
Yep, it's awesome, dude. I appreciate it. So I read this book and it's fantastic. You kick butt, dude. I feel like there is such a market and like an empty space in fiction right now for books like this. And just Sledge is just BA. He's awesome. I mean, you know, I did my that short where it just made me do a workout montage because I just get hyped every time I read it.
That was one of the favorite things that's ever been made about Sledge, dude. It got me so hyped. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
That's exactly what I created him for. You know, I don't know what the feeling is that I got as a kid from watching like Arnold Schwarzenegger movies or badass, you know, Evil Dead.
Oh yeah.
Like whatever that feeling of where you're just like, you knew it was like raw and thrilling and just over the top. Like,
oh yeah.
That was exactly what I wanted to create with Sledge. So to see it create a, make you want to do a montage of working out was just too damn cool, man.
Oh yeah. I had fun with that one. But yeah, like what I love the most about it too is like, even though it's fast paced and like, there's just so much action and so much stuff where he does something crazy and then I think there's nothing crazier that he can do. And then somehow you think of something else that he can do even wilder, but still, even within all of that, like, I still feel like you write like dialogue and like character, like the characters didn't feel like flat. And I feel like a lot of times in action books, the characters do, but even though it's first person, I feel like the side characters all felt like alive. And I just thought that was crazy that you were able to write something so fun and fast paced, but still like develop these characters, which I think you're a really good writer, man. I just was very impressed.
Well, I know it's still a trip for me to be even talking about my writing. So thanks so much. I mean, as far as like knowing the characters and doing all that, that doesn't come easy to me. So, but the way it works is once I know who the character is, then I can write dialogue and I know exactly how they respond. And so being able to get all of that character development through the dialogue is a hard thing for me to do. So to hear that it, it turned out they seem like real people, not just more cannon fodder, is awesome to hear.
Yes. It was awesome, man. And like you said, I can tell how they each talk, because I never felt like, well, he wouldn't have said that, or because sometimes you get that in books, you're reading it and they respond a certain way, and you're like, I feel like that's not right.
Or it's like clearly so dump. It's like, oh, hey, Chris, host of Bearded Book Feast, how are you? And it's like clearly just trying to get backstory through the dialogue. You're like, no one would ever say that.
Yeah. You did a good job. You never there was no info dumps. You didn't tell, we just figured out as Sledge figures it out, and I think that was really fun. I like that a lot.
You got to give the reader credit, right?
Yes. You got to know. You got to expect that most of us will be able to figure it out.
And if you can't, more mystery, that even just makes it better, right?
Oh, so heck yeah. Oh yeah, dude. You had me. I mean, I was hooked from just the first page, just the way you describe. Oh gosh, what's the girl's name? Yeah, just the way you describe her coming up and how he's just hanging out in this place in the middle of nowhere. Already, I was like, oh, this is sick. I'm in.
Yeah, man. Sledge is in his cabin, just waiting for news to go. Who can go kill?
That's right. NA's in here. Thanks for being here, man. Dave Lawson's in here. Petition for a character named Chris to get sledged in a later book.
Hey man, there's an option for that on the Kickstarter, so we'll get to that.
I saw that. That's awesome, dude.
Become a victim.
Yes. Lucas, thanks for being here. Yes, you should check it out ASAP. It is fantastic.
Awesome, Lucas. Thanks, brother.
All right. So I just kind of have always wanted to ask you, how did it go? When did you first think of writing a book, but also when did you first think of Sledge?
Yeah, I think the actual first moment that the universe of Sledge was born was when it was on a trip I went with my parents and a group of family friends. My best friend growing up, this kid named Colin Strandberg, who's still a good mate of mine, amazing artist. And we were just into the same kind of stuff as kids, like monsters, horror movies, action movies.
Yeah.
And we went up to the North Shore on Lake Superior. I grew up in the Twin Cities, but my parents had a place up on Lake Superior. But before they got that place, we used to just go up there and stay in a cabin. And it's just that land, you're on this big, ruthlessly cold lake. And then, every few miles up the coast, there's waterfalls and these really kind of deadly, beautiful, but deadly places where you can quite easily just slip into the waterfall and die into the cauldron. And the lake itself is so cold that if you fall in, you couldn't survive. It's
right.
It just pull the heat out of your body. So no one's in it. It's just this really dramatic, creepy, but a beautiful place.
Oh yeah.
And then while we were up there, my buddy had a Sega Genesis, which had just, and Mortal Kombat had just.
Heck yeah, dude.
So we would be in this cool place all day, and then at night we had the fire going, and we were playing Mortal Kombat, murdering each other to the death with brutal fatalities.
Yeah.
So those two things, fights to the death and gore and brutality, and then this physical place was, I think, the seed of the Sledge verse. The universe is always cold, it's always dark, and it takes place in a fictionalized version of a real place, which is a really near and dear place to my heart.
Yeah. That's
my
awesome.
favorite place in the world. So that's probably where it got its seed.
Okay.
But it's been Sledge as a character has been brewing in my mind since then. The first novel I wrote, which is unpublished, the main character was basically me. But then as I wrote the book, it became more and more Sledge. And by the time I finished that book, I had finally figured out, oh no, that's who I wanted to be. But then when I came into and started writing the Labrynth, so many of the characters, Kira, Maldonado, Gao, they were all in the previous book. So I knew them super well.
Okay.
Back to how I could make the dialogue work. I already knew the characters from spending 2 or 3 years just slogging through this first book, learning how to write. So that's why
that's awesome.
just kind of came out. It was, I wish every book was that easy. It just sort of I didn't know what was happening. I only knew the next step, and I had that list of murders or list of the labyrinth, and so I just kind of knew, okay, next has to come a kidnapping, and worked my way up the list, and the book just really flowed. It was great to write.
Oh man, that is awesome. That is very cool. All right, you mentioned Mortal Kombat. I need to know who did you always play with? Who was your go-to?
Well, in the OG, um, I really liked Scorpion just because he was cool.
Yes, me
And then
too.
my guy, the moment it was unlockable, was Goro because he was the
I was
tanky
gonna say I could see you doing
4
Goro.
arms, and he could like grab you with his bottom
Oh
arms and
yeah.
punch you with his top arms and stuff. So I played the game just to basically get to Goro.
Oh yeah.
And then I think it was in the second one where you could be Jax, the dude with the big metal arms. He was
Oh
pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yep.
But I just loved the game for the brutality of it. It was so much fun. It was like I loved Street Fighter. I loved Zangief. He was
Oh
super
yeah.
Sledge. But Mortal Kombat just it took the fighting game dual aspect, which I loved, but then added that gore and that horror and gore, which
Oh
I
heck yeah.
just love.
I agree. We got some more people in here. We've got Dr. L from Novel Insights. What's up, man? Thanks for
Awesome.
being here.
Hope you
Yes,
get
sir.
amongst, man.
Heck yeah. Molly said, "Get over here" for Scorpion. That's
Yes.
right. That was my move, man.
Wait till
Get
you
over
read
here,
Sledge versus
uppercut.
the Wendigo. I got the coolest new weapon for Sledge. I don't want to give away any
Oh
spoilers, but
man.
he needs to find a new weapon. So the new weapon is super Sledge, but it's got some Scorpion combat to it. It's gonna be dope.
Oh, dude, I cannot wait. Okay, so that's what I was gonna ask next. So what's next for Sledge? What's the
Yeah, well,
next?
the book I'm working on now is Sledge versus the Wendigo. So they're mentioned in the Labyrinth. The Wendigo are a gang or a sort of a secret militia, or almost like a cult that control the
Okay.
Boundary Waters. And the Boundary Waters is a real place. That's the border between northern Minnesota and southern Ontario.
Okay.
Is actually in real life the largest unguarded border between countries in the world. So
Oh
it's
wow.
you can just go in there with a canoe on your back and just go into
What?
Canada. There's no one around. It's 200
Wow. Okay.
million square acres of just complete wilderness. So it's controlled wilderness. It's international forest.
Okay.
So there's no boats allowed, no motors allowed, I should say, no structures. So in the Sledge verse, of course, there's this lurking gang, and they're in every Sledge book, there's levels, right?
Right.
Levels of
Yeah.
bad guys, just like there's levels of the Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Well, the Wendigo have levels, and they are represented by the predators of that forest in real
Ooh.
life. So you
Okay.
start out with wolf spiders, and then you go up to the rodents, and then you might get up to like your foxes and your skunks and your beavers, and then you work your
Yeah.
way up. And of course, the ultimate predator of the woods is the Wendigo. There's only one Wendigo.
That's
And
so cool,
like
dude.
this, survival of the fittest gang that, of course, Sledge has got to battle his way through because
Oh
they're
man.
trafficking. And
Oh,
so
dude.
in
It
there hard.
sounds so sweet.
It's like it's more of a Conan book. I don't know if you ever.
Oh yeah.
Conan is a huge Sledge influence. So like the journey through the foreign
Yeah.
horrifying land with different sorts of enemies and different sorts of traps and stuff. So it's gonna be. I'm in the thick of it right now. I'm in the thick of it.
Oh, dude. So what are you thinking for like? How long do you think it'll be before we can get our
This
hands
is
on?
the $1,000,000 question, and I made a mistake of trying to put a number on it or a
I know.
date on it.
Don't do it. Don't do
It
it.
was
Don't do
the
it.
worst thing I ever did because
But
suddenly this pressure just went,
yeah.
and
No,
every day I was like, oh damn, the deadlights. So
that's
my
true.
new writing thing is enjoy the grind. Like
Yes.
every day, like this morning, I'd write in my weight room / workout / garage area. So I got like tools and weights, and it's grimy, and I do like a workout and write at the same time. And so it's like I
Oh
look at it
man.
as exactly how I had to put in my time when I was an athlete. Like
Yeah.
when you're an athlete, you have this long-term goal of like winning the championship at the end of the season, but you can't look at that. It's too, so all you have to do is break it down into what you can do in each day. So I used to be like, well, if I can get my workout in, I can get my extra shots after practice, I can get my grind in, and just get a little better each day, then the goal will come. So that's how I'm looking at my writing. Same thing. I go put my time in the gym, put my time in the pit.
Yeah.
And then when it's done, and I let it percolate in my brain.
Heck yeah,
so
dude.
I got my time in this morning, so I feel good.
Nice. Heck yeah. So I'll ask, I've got some good questions in here, but I do want to ask this one or not. Well, this is true. I do think it'd be sick, but Josh asked a good question. He said, what felt more significant to you, winning the NCAA championship or writing your first novel?
Oh, that's a good one. Now, if I take out NCAA championship and put in high school state championship,
okay,
I've been lucky enough to win a championship at every level I played. So I won it in the middle school, and then in high school, then in college, then in every pro league. And they're all, those are the special years.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the most special year I ever had playing basketball was my senior year of high school, because I was playing with all my best friends, and we'd been playing together since we were, third grade.
Oh man,
And
that's
so,
awesome.
like, I'm still just best friends with these guys.
Yeah.
And so we had a school that we couldn't recruit from outside. You had to live in zone. So we had this one little small zone. And then
so you were
the team that was winning all the championships was recruiting. So they had just a stacked squad. And we took them out in the final. So if I can say what felt more significant, that or the first novel, man, that's a tie-up, because those are my two biggest dreams of all time, right? Like winning a great title with all my friends, and then becoming a novelist. So I gotta cap out and say tie.
Yeah,
but I guess because I shared that championship with my friends, that might take it out on top.
Oh yeah, for sure. So for people that might not know, you're talking about basketball, right?
Correct.
So you're a big basketball player.
I was a basketball player. My first career was playing basketball. So I went to uni, and I played at Duke, which big deal. But played is a bit of a thing. I never. There was always like an NBA legend, future legend playing above me. So I never really carved out a huge role on the court. I was captain of the team my last 2 years, so I was like, I was a good team guy, but I was never a great player when I was at uni. But then I had a pretty decent pro career overseas, Australia, New Zealand, which is how I ended up down here in New Zealand.
Right. Hey man, I'd say if you went and played at Duke and went and played professional, you were a pretty good player. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, it was funny. I learned the game over time. Everyone has the same story as who's an athlete. Like, man, if I could have just put what I know now into my body when I was 18, but I didn't really figure out the game and figure out how I could control a game or have a positive effect on the game till kind of late in the piece. And once I figured out that, my last sort of 4 or 5 years playing, I was super successful. I was, MVP of the league, led the league in rebounds all the time. I became pretty damn good, but it took me a while to figure it out.
Oh yeah, like with anything, right?
Exactly right. Just like writing, right?
Writing,
That's the beauty of a game, like playing a sport, and it's the same with writing. You can never conquer it. There's always something to learn, something to get better at, and something to do each day, right?
Yeah, for sure. We got a couple more people in here. Shane's in here. What's up, Shane?
Oh, what up, Shane? I think he's reading Sledge.
Heck yeah, he is, I think. And then Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads is here. I think he meant to say them beards. At first I was like, beards? What is he talking about? But he fixed it right away. But yeah, thanks for being here, Andrew. I want to switch back to talking about the book for a second. There was a couple good questions that I wanted to ask you. So Grimfell said that, and I agree, the idea of the dark web and the real version of the Labrynth is just so interesting.
That's a real cool story. Yeah, a buddy of mine, who I won't name, I guess, to protect him, but he works for the FBI now. But when I was writing the book, he was working for sort of Homeland Security, doing privatized basically internet sleuthing. And so he
Okay.
was on the dark web, just he'd try to get into these different groups. So he'd have like a mission. He's trying to get into like the inner
Mm.
circle of like, I don't know, the incels, or like
Okay.
there's all
Okay.
these like creepy ass you know, groups that are
Yeah.
lurking in these private forums in the dark web. And so you're trying to get in there. So he actually sent me a few of these sites that were hurt or kill for hire sites on the dark web. Now, most of them ended up being scams, but I had these lists and they were just so chilling when you saw them.
Oh, I
Like,
bet, dude.
God, you can spend 50 grand and get someone paralyzed. Like,
It's
what the
wild.
hell is that? You know, so I took that and ran with it and made
Yeah.
it like more extreme and more gnarly. But it is based on real dark web sites, so it's pretty cool.
That's cool.
And I had
That
to
is.
kind of do some dark web research. It was pretty cool, man.
Oh yeah, I bet. And then Kenneth had mentioned how the sexual tension between Sledge and Kira, and that was something I want to talk to you about too. Like, I feel like you did that so well with this like slow burn. Like, it could have been so easy for you to like just have stuff happen along the way, but I feel like it was so realistic because Sledge sometimes would just go off and like say something really dumb or do something really dumb to like push her away. And I feel like that's just perfect for his character. You know, he's not suave, he's a little awkward, a little clumsy and stuff. And when he gets mad, he does dumb stuff. Like, I just
Yeah,
thought
man.
you did a great job with that, dude.
He's a blunt force instrument,
Yes.
right? He doesn't know how to be subtle at all.
Right.
And Kira's sort of his muse, but she also
Yeah.
looks at him like, well, he's a brutal murderer. He's
Yeah.
not actually attractive. You know,
Right.
like
Right.
he's her protector, but
Yeah.
and she's based on Anishka, my girlfriend. You know, she's like
Okay.
the
I was just gonna ask that.
the clever, stunning, like
Yep.
she's always going to be sort of Sledge's muse, but in some books she's going to hate him, in some
Yeah.
books
Yeah.
she's going to need him.
Yep.
She,
I love
you
that.
know, she's the one that comes to Sledge early in the Wendigo and kind of gets him again on his quest.
Okay.
But
Nice.
in the Wendigo, there's a femme fatale, which is really fun. So
Ooh.
she's not just like a foxy lady. She's a straight up killer. Like
Yeah.
she's a ruthless,
Oh man.
really, really skilled at her job.
Okay. So she's gonna be
She's
a
not
good
so
match for
early. So
him.
there's more sexual tension, but she's way out of Sledge's league, you know. So he
That's awesome, dude.
you never know if
Oh
you can
man.
trust her.
Oh, dude, I love hearing you talk about your writing. I can just tell how much fun you're having with this.
Oh
It's
man, I just
awesome.
take all the stuff I love. You know, I'm always watching movies and always watching,
Yeah.
reading books, reading comics, and just being like, okay, what do I love? Like, what do I love every time? What tropes? And I just throw them in there and then just ramp them up to 1,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And that's what they tell you with writing, right? You should write what you want to read, and then you're
That's
gonna
it.
find your audience, you know?
And I have to, right? Like the second I'm trying to write, like what do people want? And
Oh
then we
yeah.
become this pressure of
Yeah.
then I'm not enjoying it. And if I'm not
Right.
enjoying it, the reader's not going to enjoy it. So
Yes.
I just got to make it like I got to block out all the outside influence, like that anyone's ever going to read it. Like I got
Oh
to
yeah.
just go, no, this is like me watching the Netflix show that I've always wanted to watch. I need
Yeah.
to make
Yep.
it what I want to see,
Right.
you know. And if it's someone else's cup of tea, it just turns out great that people are digging it. I mean, how far Sledge is coming a year ago,
Oh
just on a year ago, he
yeah.
was only in my head, right? So it's
That's
just
wild, dude.
absolutely such a dream to me to see how far he's come. That he's got fans, man. He's got fan
Heck
art. There's a
yeah.
wiki page out there. There's
Yeah.
people, just stoked on it, which is
Heck
just
yeah, dude.
such a dream, dude. It's so
It
cool.
is. It is. It's awesome. Tim, I agree with Tim. He said he was in a reading slump where he hadn't seen a solid beep character in ages, and then met Sledge. And I agree. Like, it's
That's
just
what
I
he's
like.
here for, man. That's what he's
Heck
here for.
yeah.
Like just something that's a quick read. Like I want it to be the kind of book, and people just keep saying it. It's like it's all by design. Every chapter is 1,000 words, and it's going to leave you on cliffhanger, and you
Oh yeah.
just got to know what's happening next, and it's going to hit hard, fast, brutal, and not overstay its welcome.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. It was like that too. That's why it's such a fast read. Like, every chapter ends and you're like, I gotta read one more. I gotta
Just
read
one
one
more.
more.
Just one
Yep.
more. Just one
Yep.
more. And you
Yep.
can read one more because it's only like 4 or 5 pages. That was
Yes,
all by design.
they're so
I
easy
had
to
this dude
digest.
at work the other day, it was like
Mhm.
maybe a month ago. This guy came up to me from work and he was like, "Dude, my wife is pissed at you." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "I was supposed to be helping her out at the house, but I started Sledge on Friday and I
I couldn't
just could
stop.
not put that thing down." It was like I was just locked in the whole weekend.
Oh, man.
And he just rode through it. I was like, "That's so cool to hear, man." He just
You're
locks
like, "Heck
people in.
yeah."
It's
Oh,
just like
man.
exaggerated.
That's awesome, dude. Josh said, if Sledge was adapted into a movie or show, who would you envision playing Sledge? Besides yourself, obviously.
Man, that's a tough question. So yeah, he's got to be physically intimidating.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a French dude, I forgot his name, who was in the movie Becky. I don't know if you know the movie
Mhm.
Becky. It's a sort of a revenge thriller about these bad guys that they're trying to take over. It's like a home invasion in a cabin story. There's this little girl,
Okay.
Becky, that's like a badass and she fights back. But like
Gotta
the
look
big
it up.
enforcer of the bad guys is this giant French guy. I'm forgetting his name. He's just got Sledge's ominous vibe. Obviously, Alan Rickson or whatever is playing Reacher could probably do a bad one. Henry Cavill,
Was
I think, if he
did
shaved his head and grew a big ass beard.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
that's true. He would be awesome. Was
Someone like
was
that,
the
like
one
the
that
old Sledge, I would have loved Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman
Oh,
would have
yeah,
played
yeah,
him
yeah.
badass, the
He
OG
would be a
Hellboy. He
sweet
could
older
be like
Sledge. Heck yeah.
old grizzled Sledge, like
Yeah.
Sledge. Like the Sledge books,
Oh,
I
yeah.
plan like kind of like the Reacher books. Like it's
Mhm.
gonna jump around in the
Okay.
timeline. You're gonna get Sledge in the
That's
pit
awesome. I
when
love
he's
that.
like a strapping 18-year-old lad that gets
Yes.
thrown into this horrible thing. You're gonna
Yeah.
get Sledge as a kid being raised by his grandfather, who I have a
Oh,
whole
man.
backstory of who his grandfather
Dude,
and how
that's
he
sweet.
raised Sledge. I have this badass idea for like he raised Sledge like Hercules with the 12 labors. He gave Sledge
Ooh.
a labor, and it was like one epic quest that Sledge had to do per year of
Oh,
life
dude.
from 6 to 18.
That is sick.
12 labors. And when he turned 18, the final labor was like the ultimate thing to turn him into a man. So I'm like
Ah.
slowly developing those in my head.
Dude.
Each book, a little bit more of that
Mhm.
backstory will get hinted at, and then eventually I'll probably write that story.
Man, that is you got me hyped, dude.
But but
That
good
is
question.
awesome.
But I don't know about the actor for sure. I haven't. So whoever would play Sledge would be the perfect actor to play the judge in Blood Meridian. I don't know if you've
Mm.
read Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy,
I've
but
read a little bit, but I know
the
I've heard about the
ultimate
judge, yeah.
badass ever written in a
Yeah.
book,
Uh-huh.
without question, is the judge in Blood Meridian.
Oh, yeah.
He's oh god, he is violence incarnate. He is just the most ruthlessly. He's like the brutality behind a lack of morality. Like if
Oh,
you take
man.
morality away and you're
Mhm.
just left with what's left, he's just the gnarly. So, but he's like this impossible character to have an actor for. He's 7 foot, monstrous,
Oh, yeah.
terrifying human. So
Right. Whoever
don't know
plays him, who's gonna
Dave
play
Bautista
Sledge?
would be good. I just saw Shane down there in the
Oh,
comments.
yeah,
Dave
yeah, I was
Bautista
gonna
could do it.
say
Yeah, he's got that. He'd have to
Bautista,
get
yeah.
big again though.
Yep, yeah,
He just got off the roids, so he
yeah,
might have
yeah,
to get out,
he got to
do a
get
couple
back up.
cycles again. Do a couple
Oh,
cycles,
man.
but
So true. I was just looking up that Becky movie you were talking about. Was it Kevin James that played that part?
he was the big bad,
Really? So
not
he
the
was the
muscle.
bad
Yeah,
guy.
he
Okay.
plays a really good big bad in there. Yeah, you
Oh,
wouldn't think he
dang.
could do it, but yeah, he's ruthless in there. Yeah, it's a fun movie.
I'll have to check it
Oh,
out. Yeah, that
hey,
looks sweet.
already overbooked down here. Said Brock Lesnar. I know Brock
Oh,
just
dude.
a little bit through the University of Minnesota.
Do
Old
you
teammate
really?
of mine from high school, played college football with, and he was at the University of Minnesota when Brock Lesnar was a wrestler there. And
Oh,
Brock
man.
would be perfect. Like he's
Yeah, he
just
would be, man.
one of the sledgiest humans that's ever.
Yes.
I have this incredible Brock Lesnar story. My buddy Matt was at a house party with him,
Uh-huh.
and Brock is just like he's as aggressive as he is big. Now this is rumor story, so I don't want to get Brock
Oh,
in
yeah, yeah,
trouble.
yeah. Yeah,
But,
yeah, yeah. Of course, of course.
Supposedly he's at this house party, and Brock knew the owner of the house party, but there was like a couple cats that they didn't want at the party,
Mhm.
and they had warned Brock, like, if these guys show up, just scare them off.
Yeah.
So the guy whose party was the dude who was walked in the door, and the guy looked over at Brock like, Brock, that's him, get him out. Brock went over to this dude, just picked his ass
Picked him
up,
up.
opened the door, and just threw him down the
Oh my
the
god.
stairs, down onto
Oh,
the
dude.
sidewalk. And the guy
That's
whose party it was like, no, not that guy.
So this poor guy doesn't even know what's
He
going
grabbed
on.
this other dude, chucked him out, and then went down to the first guy, like, my bad, dude, I'm sorry. The guy was like, I'm fine, it's okay, man.
Oh, it's cool. Oh my gosh, that's
Oh,
hilarious.
but yeah,
Oh
dude,
man,
Brock is a real life Sledge man. Whew.
that's yeah, oh yeah. I could see him doing it for sure. I think that Tom Hardy could do it.
Tom
He's
Hardy could
short.
do it,
He's
man. He
shorter,
could do it. He's
but
not tall, but if he
he
got the
would be
cracks
sweet.
again that he had
Oh
in
yeah,
Warrior,
yeah.
so
Oh
Tom
yeah,
Hardy in Warrior is one of the
yeah.
sledgiest characters
Oh
that
yeah,
there's ever been. Like ripping a door off a tank,
yes.
just like taking down the pit fighter dude in his first thing, just like real understated, softly spoken.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Super
Oh
awesome.
man, yeah. Yeah. There's some good ones out there. I don't know if I agree with Kenneth though. Steve Buscemi.
I
I
don't
don't
know if
know
he
if he
could
can
pull it
even
off.
bulk
But hey,
up.
he got on a couple runs of roids.
Yeah, right. I guess who knows?
He
Who
could
knows?
play. Who could he play? He
I
could
know
play
he is an awesome actor.
maybe Duffy. He could be
Oh
Duffy.
yeah, there we go. There we
Yeah,
go.
smarmy guy on the docks.
Oh yeah, that would work. That would work. All right, so let's talk about this Kickstarter, man. I'm
Yeah,
pumped for it.
dude.
So
Oh
yeah,
man, I'm
yeah,
so
take it away.
stoked.
Tell us
Like,
about it.
so, there's levels of Sledge, right? So the book was the first deal, but I could see, I want a Sledge video game. I want Sledge
Heck
TV
yeah.
show. I want Sledge movies. So the next evolution of Sledge is I want an awesome audiobook.
Hmm.
And I love audiobooks. So every day am I driving to work, I listen to my audiobooks. So I'm always listening to something. I mean, in my opinion, the best audiobooks of all time are the Dungeon Crawler Carl. I've listened to a
Oh,
million audiobooks.
hmm.
Those, and I think the Robert Galbraith, the guy who does J.K. Rowling,
Oh
they're
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. Yep.
stories. So to do a great audiobook, you just have to have just so much skill as a narrator to be able to, when you're listening, not jar the listener out, where the second they hear the voice, like we're talking with more dialogue, the second you hear the voice, you got to know what character it is
Oh yeah.
from
Yep.
both the dialect and then the way the words are spoken. So I have
Right.
the writing now, but it just takes a super skilled narrator to be able to do all these different characters that I came up with because they're all different backgrounds. Like Gao is British, and he's based on a
Right.
friend of mine who's British.
Oh,
But
okay. I was gonna ask.
I found my narrator. So I put Sledge up and had over 100 auditions, and it's just such a hard thing. One, to
Dude.
get Sledge has got to be a
Yeah.
towering, brutal.
Hmm.
He's got to have that gravel rumble
Right.
of his voice, which is just not that many people can do because they just can't do
Right.
it. But then you also have to be able to do all these different accents. So I found the narrator, this guy Joshua Saxon. I got to give him a shout out. He's just unbelievably talented, and I gave him a PDF of all the characters and then what they look like in the book, like, and then who I would get to play them if I could make a movie, right? And then he just came back with some snippets of each of the characters, and I'm honestly, it just blew me away what
Oh,
he can do with his voices. But the man is talented and he needs his money. So the
yeah.
Kickstarter is like, I'm producing my own movie, but it's my own audiobook. So I'm doing it old school, like Damien Leone just did with Terrifier 3, right? Like this
Oh,
is not
right. Right.
we don't have the big studios here to
Right.
back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is
Hmm.
why the Kickstarter, man. It's like I need all you people out there to help pay Josh
Yeah.
what he's worth, because but it's just been incredible. The
Hmm.
Kickstarter just came out 2 days ago, and I'm already 60% there, man. So
Ah,
for all of
heck
you
yeah,
that
dude.
have already backed, I mean, thank you so much. And if you haven't, have a look, man, because it's going to just be you can get a little snippet of the audio of
Yes,
just the
and it
Sledge voice
sounds
right at
so
the end of the
good.
video, man. And he's just got it. It's just like he's just got that like, and I don't know, it just takes a really skilled reader to get the cadence of the words and to be able to just get it clean and make it sound the way it is. It's just like he's only got snippets. I got to pay the man so he can get it rolling.
Right.
Stuff that I got so far has just got me chomping at the bit.
Oh man.
So yeah, thanks you so much, Shane. Honestly, I appreciate the absolute hell of it. And you, Chris, like it's just so
Oh yeah,
cool
I back you, man. I got you. I'm excited.
That
snippet got me hyped, dude. He nailed it. Like
he's just so good, man. And he really just gets like that. I put the snippet I gave him for that. It was like my favorite scene early on where he just rolls into the logging camp with his hammer and there's a pit fight going on. And it's like, I think that's the most proud of any single sentence I've ever written in a book is in the beginning of that third chapter of Sledge, where it describes this, like you're in this giant logging mill with a 300 like bearded badasses watching this pit fight, and the pit fight is taking place in this like chained cage with this lock, there's razor wire, and then it just describes Sledge perfectly because he looks around and looks at it all, and the way he describes it is cute. So, you know, you learn so much about Sledge from one word. He walks into the pit fight where there's a guy killing another guy in a barbed wire cage, and he's like,
cute.
And so,
that is awesome.
He just sensed that right away. So when you hear him say it, you're like, he knows exactly what this is, right? The real badass is here.
Oh man, right? Heck yeah, dude. Did you know that right when you heard him do it? Did you know he was the one, or did you have some other ones you had to really like?
I had a bunch. So like you can, I had some favorites, and I was going back and forth. And the first time he actually did it, he did it in a Southern accent because he just hadn't read the book, and he just had a quick description. And I said that Sledge just lives in a cabin, so he just kind of had his image of Sledge as being in the South.
Oh yeah.
And it just wasn't quite it, but I could tell right away that he had the gravel and he had the cadence. Like you can tell people that just really know what the hell they're doing. Just from the way they read, like the opening sentence. And so like I knew right away that he was probably it. So I had to message and get him back forth, get him to do another audition. But it was awesome.
That is so cool.
He was pretty clear right away.
Oh,
and man. I got to shout out Keith Rawson. He's the awesome author. He's killing it right now. He's a horror author. He's written Fever House. The Devil by Name is his new one, and he's the one that suggested Joshua to me.
These ones.
Oh, look at those covers, man.
Those covers are sweet, aren't they?
They're just so badass.
So cool.
Yeah, and what a cool, just awesome author. So he's the one that actually shouted out Sledge. He said, Joshua Saxon would kill this, and I was like, who's that? So I actually hit Josh up like, hey.
Oh yeah.
But Josh is a pro's pro, and he's done. Between now and Christmas, he's got some insane amount of books that he's got to do. So I got to get him his money so he can get on Sledge. So back that Kickstarter team. Let's go.
Yes. Yeah, there's a couple more people here who already did. Josh did.
Man, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Rimfeld did.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
Oh.
Awesome. Honestly, guys, thanks so much. What a freaking dream, man. And it's just been the every day, every time, having one person out there that's willing to like back your dream is insane. But to have, as an indie author to raise that kind of funds in 24, 48 hours is just dude. Holy shit.
I'm sure
it's the dream. So, but you know what it is like, as an indie author, you get what between $1 to $5 a book. So to try to get that kind of money to earn that, I had to just pay out of pocket. That's a huge chunk of revenue. So looking at it like from the business aspect, you got to get it in front of people. So the amount of success that Kickstarter's had just in 48 hours is like, it's like killing it. As a
dude,
badass, just trying to do it old school, right? Word of mouth, chucking it out on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for spreading the word and helping me out.
Of course, man. Yeah, Kickstarter is great for that. I just think it's such a big boom for indie right now. I
It's
think
such a
it's so
really cool
awesome.
deal, man. It's such a
Mhm.
really cool deal, and I think it's yeah, it's just a way to help you out and just show your support. My favorite all time movies at the moment are actually all Kickstarter funded. I don't know if you've ever
Oh, really?
seen. They're called Never Hike Alone is the first one.
Uh-uh.
Never Hike Alone in the Woods, I think, or in the
Okay.
snow is the second
That
one.
sounds cool.
Never Hike Alone too. And what they are is they're Friday the 13th fan films. So they're like found footage sort of
Okay.
the first one is fan films, but they got Jason in them. But they're
Oh,
just done old school indie, like guys with a drone and like GoPros, but they're just
that's
done
awesome.
incredibly well.
I'll have to
And
check
they're
it out.
free to watch on YouTube because
Oh,
these
dang.
guys fundraised on Kickstarter, man. So I
Ah,
back them. And, like, it's just so cool that you can do that kind of thing. But
yes.
the only way you can do that kind of thing is just dudes trying to get something made
Yeah. Right.
just through something like Kickstarter. So it's
Yeah.
just so cool to,
That is very cool.
I mean, it's a new terrifying experience.
Oh,
There's putting
yeah.
your book out there and just hoping someone doesn't just
Right.
hate it.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
it's like people give me money for helping me my dream. It's crazy
Ah,
that
heck
people
yeah, dude.
are doing it. But all this money is going to Josh, right?
Right,
So
right.
it's for him, man. He
Yeah.
needs it, and he deserves it because he's just
Yes.
so damn good. So I'm
Ah,
just so stoked to have this new level of Sledge, man. The audiobook is gonna be so damn cool.
heck yeah, dude. Molly, another one in here that
Oh
backed
yeah,
you.
thank
Got
you.
you.
So
It's awesome.
cool.
All right, so Kickstarter's rocking. We talked about the book and your writing. Tell me a little bit about the cover because I love covers and I love not
Oh,
just the cover but the whole book all the way around. Just all fits the story. Like, how did that all go? The process for
so
that.
I just have the coolest designer. So she's a designer. Um, and so my girlfriend Anishka worked at a small business that had just a really cool vibe. And the designer that made a lot of the marketing stuff and a lot of just the evoked the vibe for this business, which was like just a food truck, cool. Just had the awesomest was this girl Gemma Cheer, who lives here in town in
Okay.
Palmas North. So
Oh, that's
she's
crazy.
never done a book or anything before, but
Really?
I just went and met with her in her studio, and you just walked in, and everything that she had, like her pencils were the coolest pencil you've ever seen, right?
Oh
Like her
man. Yeah.
desk was like everywhere you looked, it was just like her design sense was just beyond like everything she touches and it was all different, right? So like
Dang.
you look at what she does for like this company and what she does for this company, it's completely different but
Oh
just
wow.
incredibly cool. Like
Mhm.
I just want to hang out with her, like teach me cool stuff because I know
Right. Yeah.
everything you're into
Yeah.
is just gonna be cool. So
Oh, that's
she's been
awesome.
awesome for like movie recommendations and all.
Dang.
She's just the coolest chick. So anyway, I gave her the brief, like, yo,
Yeah.
it's got to be gritty, dark, badass. And I said it's like a Conan cover, so I need like the old Conan books. I'm sure I got one
Oh
lying
yeah.
around. Oh, this one's kind of lame, but like they had a they had
Oh
a
yeah.
like a Conan font.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes.
here's one of my
Yes.
favors, Phoenix, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
these
That
guys
one's.
they have like the Phoenix font, all the
Yes.
books.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it needed to have the Sledge font, and
Oh
my
yes.
brief was like, I want it to be like uh, concrete chucked down some
Yes.
stairs or
Yeah. Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
like bloody
Mm-hmm.
broken concrete or something. And then I want it to be ominous and intimidating. So Sledge is an anti-hero and it's pulpy. I want it to be
Yes.
like a pulp paperback. I want it to be like you pick this
Mm-hmm.
thing up at a used bookstore. It's
Yes.
like
I love that.
in the restricted section that they only let the
Yeah.
over 18s
Yep.
get amongst this really gnarly
Yeah.
old school stuff. So I mean, and man, you see what came of it. The
Oh, I
only
love
thing I gotta say is the only thing that I did is
it.
I did the hammer.
You
So
did?
the hammer itself, I I created that in Photoshop because the weapon wasn't quite it. So that's my one
Okay.
little touch. It's
Well,
like,
nice
I want
job, because that looks
it
sick.
kind of like this. It
The
couldn't be too
hammer.
clean. Yeah, it had to be this like gnarled kind of piece of. So I've spent a lot of time just kind of like mucking
Oh,
around
that's
with that.
sweet.
So my
Yeah.
only input. And then I was always just feeding back like, nah, shoulders need to be wider.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
he's got to be
Yeah.
tankier, bigger, better. So I was just giving all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's sick, dude. Yeah, that
Yeah,
cover.
and the only other thing about the
Uh-huh.
cover, which is cool, is the image behind
Mhm.
Sledge, that warehouse, is the exact image. So when I write, I'm like, okay, I need to describe a abandoned ore
Yeah.
refinery. So I just
Okay.
Google until I find the right image. So
Yeah.
the image that is in there is the exact image that I wrote from and used
Oh,
as
really?
inspiration when Sledge
Wow,
takes on Skin Peeler.
that's pretty
So he
sweet.
goes into the dark abandoned ore refinery. You can
Yeah.
sort of see it in the back
Over
upper
here. Oh,
top.
wait. Over here.
That
Yeah.
image is
Ah,
kinda, like, hidden in the back there, and that's
yep.
the actual
Over
image
there.
I used to write with. So
Dude, that's
that's
sweet.
straight out of the scene.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, it's a striking cover. Like, the first time I ever even heard about it was I was just looking through Amazon for, like, cool books, scrolling, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, dang, that's cool."
Dude, that's so cool that you saw it that way
Yeah.
too, because I don't know how the Amazon algorithm
I know,
works,
me neither. I don't get it.
so it's like, get that's the dream. Like, I know every indie author is this way. It's like, I know that there's 10,000, 100,000 humans on this earth that when they see that cover and read the blurb will go, "Oh, I wanna read
Oh,
that."
yeah. Yeah.
But how do you get
How to
it
get
in
it to them.
front of
Yeah.
those people?
Yep,
I
yep.
No one knows. If everyone knew that secret, like, if I could just,
I know.
dial up the email of those
Yes.
100,000 people and just
I know.
send it out,
You'd be set.
that's the dream, but,
Yep.
so thank you all for, when you read and you post a review, you tell
Yep.
someone about it. I don't know how it works, but the algorithm learns and it starts showing it to other people that might be into it, and that's how he's underground. Sledge
Heck
is
yeah, dude.
spreading the old school way, just sort of
He is.
word of mouth.
Yep. And I agree with Josh. I said this too before we came on. Need some
Dude,
Sledge merch.
it's in the works, man. It's in the works. Again, cash flow. So
Yep.
back the Kickstarter. Sledge merch is one of my stretch goals, man. I can already envision some
Oh, dude. It'd
badass
be so
Sledge
sweet, man.
tees and hoodies. I got it. It's
Heck
on.
yeah, dude. Heck yeah. Well, they make those hoodies now that zip all the way up. You could just do one where it's got like a beard on it even.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, have the
That would
beard.
be
That,
sweet.
that would be dope. And then like the top of it could have the crack in his
Yeah.
skull.
And his skull. Yep. Yep. Dude, that would be sick.
That would be
That would be
awesome.
awesome. Oh man. All right. So you've talked a little bit about video games. Now I want to know, what do you still play video games? Do you have time to play them now, or do you not have as much
So
time?
I play a little bit, but
Okay.
I got way into. I was a gamer for a little while. I had even
Mhm.
a little gaming channel, tall
Oh, you
bearded one.
did?
I would put up, and basically I only played the games that made by FromSoft, so Dark Souls, Bloodborne. They were these Bloodborne, I think, still is my all-time favorite video game, bar none. So it's just the lore, the level design, and the boss design and enemy design, and then the difficulty of these
Oh
games
yeah.
is just unbelievable. And basically, they're RPGs where you could build your character and you could build them any way you wanted.
Okay.
So I, of course, built the sledgiest character, right? The thickest
Heck yeah.
armor, the tankiest weapon, and I
Right.
just like sledged my way through this game. And once you got far enough in the game, they came out with like a dueling arena, so you could
Mhm.
go in there and fight to the death online against other people,
Oh,
and
dude.
you could invade other people's games. So to be honest, a
Oh,
lot
really?
of Sledge was born in those
In
games.
there.
Like, I was basically playing as this ultimate
Yeah.
tank, and that's always my favorite kind of character. Like, they
Mhm.
have weaknesses, right? So
Mhm.
in those games, I had the super high damage weapons, but they were so slow that it was nearly impossible to hit anyone. So you had
Yeah.
to be clever and like bait people into
Right.
attacking, which is basically Sledge's style. He
Mhm.
is super slow. So he's got to trick you to get within arm's reach. But the second you're within
Yeah.
arm's reach, you're already dead.
Oh, yeah.
So like playing those games actually inspired a lot of my writing, but I had to give them up to write. So now, right, because the newest one, Elden Ring, came out, but I was like, man, if I buy that thing, I'm gonna do. There goes the
there goes the next book.
It takes to write the next Sledge book.
Right.
I'm just gonna be playing that. But I am playing. The game I envision and Sledge being is like a beat 'em up, an old school beat 'em up. And right now there is actually an awesome old school beat 'em up. Streets of Rage 4, it's called. So Streets of Rage is one of those old school, like Dungeons and Dragons, kind of Castlevania side-scrolling beat 'em ups in it, but it's a super well done one. So I play that with my kids. We go, we can team up together and we can go take them out. Sledge video games gonna have. That's the dream, right? The outlandish goal, it would be to make an indie Sledge video game. I'd get my buddy Ed Greaves, EC Greaves. Check out his book, Down to the Beast. But he's an awesome.
He's awesome.
Programmer. He could do it.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's sweet.
Get him the money. So again, back to Kickstarter.
Back to it again. Yeah, that's cool. Is this?
Oh, that's my lovely lady.
I was gonna say, is this your girl?
I don't know. She's not at home right now. She must be listening out on the town, or maybe she's in the next room.
Well, that's awesome to see that support. That is awesome. Brian from Belltube's here, Minnesota, representing.
She's here. Oh, represent. Brian's a awesome booktuber in his own right, and you got to check him out. But he's at home on the ground in the Sledgeverse. So Brian does an awesome job of sending me clips from home. So like it's inspiration. Nice. So cool story about Brian is there is it's an old lodge that was up on Poplar Lake, which is way up in northern Minnesota, right on the edge of the Boundary Waters, which I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And there was a lodge on there called the Wendigo. And it's a really it's a curse to call your place the Wendigo. So that lodge is going to appear in my books, but it's gone now. But the place in the physical location where it is a bunch of beautiful cabins, and Brian is friends with the people that actually live there and own that.
No way.
So it's like this crazy Minnesota connection where Brian will be up there like literally at the physical spot where my books take place, and he sends me photos like, look, it's snowing in June. I'm like, it gives me all the motivation. He just sent one the other day of like snow in October. So cool.
That's awesome, dude. Tim agreed that EC would nail the Sledge game. His covers are sick, so I'm not surprised. He's good at that stuff. And he's
so good. He's just an incredible artist. He can just do everything, man. And Ed is like, he writes on his phone, and he's just such a rad dude. He's just out here doing he's got his fingers in a bunch of pies. He's the funniest dude out. He's just the coolest dude. So
he's awesome, dude. He sent me his books, and he drew a bunch of pictures in them that are like just rated R, hilarious pictures.
He's just got
he's such a cool guy.
Art style, and he's just got the funniest.
He's awesome.
Humor. He's coming. I think he's in the process of coming out. Probably end up doing a Kickstarter too for like some incredible special edition.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
With like all the art would be so bad.
Dude, that would be awesome.
And he's done some incredible Sledge art too. Just like. Awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you know what this comment is that Shane's talking about. I'm not sure.
I have no idea what that means, but okay. Who saved your life?
Oh man. Sledge thumbs, only way you could ever write yeah, exactly. I can't even imagine.
The way he says it is like he can't go back and edit, which helps. And I totally understand that because the bane of my writing is like going back and rewording, like knowing that there's an infinite number of ways to make the sentence right just messes with my brain. So, I should maybe get a typewriter so I just can't go back and just keep moving forward.
Yes, for sure. Dang it. I guess we just didn't get it. He's just hyping you up, I think. Hyping up Sledge in the book.
Let's go.
Oh man,
we're retarded. My bad. Don't know.
We're not good at that stuff over here. Uh, so shoot, now I forgot what I was gonna say next. I thought of something. Oh yeah. I was gonna say you were talking about how Sledge has to draw them in, and that was one of my favorite parts that just cracked me up when he's going to that warehouse and he's trying to get that guard to come to the fence, and he keeps saying like a little closer, a little closer. Like, oh, that was so
Trying to
funny.
trick him in, like whispering, like, "Come on, get over here."
Yeah, that was
No,
awesome,
that's
dude.
his thing, man. He's slow, so he can't catch you.
Oh
So
yeah,
he's like
right,
Jason in that way. He never runs.
right. Yeah, no,
Right?
no.
Don't get close. Don't get close. But he's
Yep.
got to be clever. To his advantage. He's more clever than he looks.
Mhm.
Right. So no one
Yeah.
gives him enough credit. He just
Yeah,
looks like
yeah,
a big dumb oaf, but
yeah.
he's thinking. He's thinking.
That's true. Yep. So some of the crazy stuff he does in the book, like did that stuff, did you have almost all of it already ahead thinking it would happen, or did it just come to you as you write a scene and you're like, you know what'd be sweet for him to do right now? This.
So I do a really fun thing. I stole this from Harlan Coben.
Okay.
Uh, Harlan Coben came out with this interview one time, and he said, I write the first 3/4 of my novel in the first few months, and
Okay.
I write myself into a corner
Mm,
completely on purpose. He
okay.
throws out like a whole bunch of random clues and has no idea how they all tie together.
Man,
And then he
that's
spends
awesome.
the next like 9 months tying it all, figuring out how it all works. Well, I do that with Sledge. I just go, okay, I gotta, I just write him into like a place where have no idea how he's going to get out.
Hmm.
Like in the Wendigo, I just wrote, well, he's already caught and he's already dead, and there's no way he's going to.
Yeah.
And then I stopped end of the chapter. So you, as a reader,
Oh
and me as a
yeah.
writer, have to find out what happens next.
Yes.
So then I go, okay, shit, now I got to figure it out. So then I go for a walk. I throw out ideas to all my people, like, how can Sledge get out of this? What the
Yeah.
hell's going on? Like in the Labyrinth, no spoilers, but like when, he walks into the cabin and then the wraith comes
Yes.
in from
Yes.
behind and puts the gun to the back
Oh
of
yeah.
Gow's head. When I
Yep.
wrote that, I was like,
What?
I don't know what they did, but I got
Yeah.
no idea how they're getting out of this one. And then I came up with, I was like, oh, that could be, and so that's the fun of the writing, where I
Yeah,
don't know
dude.
what the hell's happening right now. Sledge is caught, and I'm working through it. I don't really know exactly what is to happen because
Yeah.
he is screwed right now in the one I'm writing now in the Wendigo.
That's awesome, dude. Oh, that's so cool that you do that. That makes sense because
It's
you
hard,
got me
but
a
it's
lot of
fun,
times.
right? It's a fun way to
Yeah.
write because then you're
Heck yeah.
excited. You're excited to like go into it,
Like to
like,
figure
okay,
it out. Yeah.
what the hell? What the hell?
Oh man, that's awesome. Very cool. Um, so uh Shane, so that actually would be pretty cool. Sledge is a
Because
DLC.
Jason was one, right? Jason was like an unlockable character in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
So,
that's
man,
right.
that would be such a dream. Imagine Sledge. He'd be so awesome with his hammer,
Oh heck
and
yeah,
he'd
dude.
be super slow. But if you got
Mhm.
near him, it was just like one
Done.
hitter quitter.
One hit
He
done.
had
Yeah.
one like special move where if you got
Yeah.
hit by it, it was just
You're
instant
over. Yeah. Yeah. So you talked about Harlan Coben a little bit, but so what's like your reading? What's your favorite genre to read, and how did your
death.
reading start for you? Like when in life did you become a reader? Did it start when you were young, when you were older? Like what kind of stuff has inspired you through reading through the
Great
years?
question. I've been a reader my whole life since I first read The Hobbit. The Hobbit was the
Nice.
first book that, like
Okay.
I wasn't into reading, but my parents were big readers, and I read books for school and just thought they were the
Right.
lamest. And The Hobbit
Oh
was
yeah.
the first book where I read it and was like, oh wait, I want to
Oh,
know
this
what
could be
happened.
cool.
This
Yeah.
is cool. There was
Yeah.
a dude that turned into a bear, and I was like, oh, that's badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but then I got into Stephen King young. So like, I think maybe one or two books after The Hobbit, I went to the book fair. And I was still in like elementary school, but they had The Stand, which was like this.
At
I
the
should go.
book fair?
I still have the copy. It
You
took me
do?
like a year to read this thing. It
Oh,
is
that
like I
thing's so
clicked
long.
on the cover like so many different times. This thing is like it's like the old like Necronomicon that you see in the Evil Dead. Like it's been rotted and then
Yes.
patched together with human flesh.
Yeah.
And like that totally. So that got me into like what books could be. So the
Yeah.
coolest thing about reading Stephen King when you were that age is you knew you were not supposed to be reading this stuff, like
Right.
you read It, and there was like a
Oh yeah.
gang sex scene at the end of this thing, and I'm reading
Oh yeah.
this when I'm like 11, and I'm like,
Wait a
whoa,
minute.
my parents knew I was reading this, man. Damn,
Oh yeah, that's a rough
So, like,
one.
that's what really got me into like, I've always wanted to read the gnarly stuff. So I got way into horror. I smashed all of Richard Lehman. Once I found Richard Lehman, he was like the gnarly Stephen King. May he rest in
Right.
peace. He was an American author, but his books only kind of made it in UK. He never really
Okay.
became big in the
Yeah,
US.
I haven't heard of him.
So it was hard to get his books in America, but once I found those, I was like, they were the books that I had to seek out and like order from,
Okay.
find maybe a lost copy in a
Yeah.
used bookstore. And because they were like Stephen King, but gnarly, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it was like he didn't have a conscience, so you never knew where they were going to go. And then, yeah, so I got into that, and then I got into Conan. Like the books I
Mhm.
was always looking for was like, what is the modern Conan? Like the
Yeah.
Conan
Oh
books
yeah.
way back in the day, it was like this
Mhm.
tanky anti-hero, and then the villains were so well
Oh
done
yeah.
because they were
Yeah.
so overpowered
Right.
compared to Conan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like that was just something I was always looking for. Like who's like the modern
Right.
action hero?
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
wasn't one. Then Reacher
Right.
came along, and another one of my all-time favorite series. It's not action hero, but it's a private investigator, but he's real tough. Is the Robert B. Parker
Yes. Spencer.
Spencer novels.
Yes.
And I just love
Love
a
Spencer.
recurring series
Yep.
like that. So I love a
Yep. Me
book
too.
where it's like you come back and it's like you're meeting your old friends again.
Yep.
Hawk's coming back.
Yes.
You got Cork and Belson, and you got
Yep.
Susan, and you get to hang out with all your old mates.
Yes.
And
That's cool, man.
it's just Spencer doing the same thing the other time over and over again with
Yeah.
a new mystery. So that's what I want to create with Sledge. Is like you're in good hands in another Sledge book. It's going to be
Yeah.
fast paced, brutal, exciting. There's going to be levels. There's going to be mystery. There's going to
Mhm.
be crazy over the top violence and crazy over the top boss battles all the way up.
Oh man. That's awesome, dude. That is very cool. Ithra's in here, Cinna. She's a huge audiobook person, so she's
think
pumped
you
about your
just
Kickstarter.
got onto that Sledge
Yes.
Kickstarter too. Thank you
Yep.
so much. Yeah, I think she's been, waiting for that audio book.
Yes.
So
She has
keep
been.
spreading that word, team. Cinna needs it.
Yep, that's right. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I I like Reacher. I like Reacher, but I think that where Sledge, I love that group that I feel like you're gonna have these characters that come back, like you said, with the Spencer books, where you have that family, those friends you come back to that you missed. Where like Reacher, sometimes there's recurring, but like since he's always on the move, I feel like
Yeah.
when a series character like that can have a little bit of some roots, and I feel like that is just way cooler
Yeah, I
to
love
me.
a universe too, right?
Yes.
So Spencer's got Boston, and it's like
Yeah.
Spencer's Boston. In the later
Yes.
books, there's even a map, and it's just like
Yes.
Spencer's Boston. This is the
Yes.
layout of this universe.
Yep.
And I stole
I
that
love
from
that.
like Conan books too, where you take a real place but make it your own. And so
Yes.
all the Sledgeverse, like Gunflint Cove, is based on a real town called Grand Marais. Duluth is a real place. The Boundary Waters is
Mhm.
a real place.
Yep.
All the GPS coordinates that I put in the Labrynth, those are real. So if you
Oh,
want
wow.
like little Easter eggs, like Standard Rock Lighthouse, like I won't spoil, but that's the coolest place I've ever seen in the world. So if you put in the GPS coordinates from the Labrynth in the book, you can see that place on Google Maps, and it is the gnarliest place in the world. So I want to I love that like closed box. It's kind of like a cozy mystery thing where you have your, Gotham City, you have your
Yep.
Batman universe. It takes
Yes.
place there.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to create this universe where, it's the Sledge universe, and you're going to get these repeating stories. So in the one I'm
Yeah.
writing now, you're learning this whole map of
Oh,
north of where the Sledge lives. It's going to be gnarly.
that's fantastic, man. So Sen, we were talking about Boston because that's we were talking about the Robert Parker Spencer series. But Nick, you grew up in Minnesota, right?
Yeah,
And
I
then
grew up in Minnesota. I'm not
yep,
from Boston. I have
yeah,
a real good friend that went to MIT, so I spent a couple summers just hanging out in Boston. Uh,
nice.
um, what a cool spot! But nah, I'm from Minnesota, the tundra.
Yes. Now you're a big Vikings fan, right?
Oh, got to, man. So being a Vikings fan is like the ultimate in I would call it like relentless persistence. Sisu, there's a word for it in Finnish, sisu.
Yeah.
It's like they're never giving up, even though chances of survival are slim. Because the Vikes have never won a Super Bowl. They're always good,
Yep.
but never, they
over
just
that hump. Yeah.
so only a true Vikings fan knows what Sisu really is. You just got to stay in there. Brian
That's
Bell,
right.
who's in the chat,
Oh yeah, he's a big Vikings fan.
all us,
Yep.
only a Minnesotan knows what it's like to be a Vikes fan.
Well, hey, I'm a Lions fan. Things are good now, but
hey man, you guys are good.
16,
But yeah,
man.
you went through a lot of rough years.
Yeah. Oh man, I used to love watching back when the Lions weren't good. I loved watching the Vikings when they had like Randall Cunningham, and they were just so good on offense. Those were fun teams.
That was when I was in high school.
Oh
and they were
yeah,
so
and Culpepper.
It was huge, man.
Yeah.
They just broke our heart when they lost to the Falcons.
I know, man.
Oh man. But
yeah, they've had some rough ones for sure. Oh yeah, Adrian Peterson, because Shane's a big Oklahoma fan too.
My favorite all-time Viking though is Jared Allen.
Oh yeah,
he's so good. And he would wrangle cows, wrangle horses when he got a sack. He had the mullet militia. He was just like this loose unit on the defensive end trying to get sacks.
Oh yeah,
that's fun to watch.
Oh, he's so good, man. So Senna came in after we talked about it, but not yet.
It's on the way. I gotta go. You know what? You guys have inspired me. It's in there. The Sledge gear is coming.
Yes.
Back to Kickstarter. Yeah, I know you already have, Senna. It's in there, right? It's in the long range plans, and it's high on the list of stuff we got to get going. I think it'll be dope. But I'll get Anishka. She's really good with her design sense to get up some really badass stuff.
Heck yeah, dude! It's gonna be awesome. Very cool. How about music? What kind of first, what kind of music do you like? Second, do you listen to music when you write?
Awesome questions. I have a super eclectic taste. My two favorite genres of music are jazz. I love good organ jazz, piano jazz, guitar jazz. I just love the art of it, to the idea that this is free form. These guys are just, they're not, they don't have a recorded song. These are just some dudes got together, and I'm a huge stereo guy. So I like the three-dimensional soundscape of stereo. Like my physics brain, it's kind of a lost art because everyone now just listens on headphones or little mini speakers, but like if you've ever heard a proper stereo setup and a good jazz recording, if you close your eyes, you can see through your ears in physical space where each musician was in space when it was recorded. So if you're listening to a great jazz record, you're actually sitting in the band. Like you got the bassist on your left and the drummer straight ahead and your guitarist on your right, and you can actually physically hear them in space. So that's just like, sometimes I just like chilling out and just
heck yeah, dude,
going to a live jazz venue in my living room. And I can write to jazz because there's no music behind it. There's no vocal, I should say.
Yeah.
But other than that, the kind of music I love is, I'm such a metalhead. I love those brutal death metal, like Cannibal Corpse, Dying Fetus, all these. I love Slayer, early Metallica growing up, right? Like thrash metal, death metal, and Deicide. Like the more sort of like evil and gnarly, it's just kind of fits the stuff I'm into. Like that, damn, these guys are like some of the song titles of Cannibal Corpse are like their album covers. When I was a kid, you couldn't buy, or if you bought the Cannibal Corpse album, it had a fake album cover over the top because you weren't allowed to look at the actual album art. It was too gnarly, Like you go look at the Tomb of the Mutilated album cover, it's just like gnarly stuff. And some of the song titles are just like damn. So again, it was like the music I wasn't supposed to be listening to. Oh my God, these guys are like invoking the devil. Deicide, the lead singer, had an upside down cross burned into his forehead. I was like, damn, this guy is he's in this, man. Like,
He's into it, yeah.
he cares about this. And like,
man.
so like, I love that. And the growled guttural vocals doesn't distract me from my
Okay.
writing. So
Oh, that's
when I'm
good.
working out, if I write in the garage, so I have a couple places I write. I write in
Okay.
here in my sort of library, and here
Yeah.
I'm listening to jazz. If I'm in the garage, I got my so everyone check it out. There's a public playlist on Spotify called Sledge versus
Oh,
Music, and it's
sweet.
all my favorite death metal songs. And the
Okay.
opening song from Cannibal Corpse, the opening minute of that song is what I envision being the
Boom, here you
theme
go.
song, the title song for the Sledge TV show or movie.
Oh, man.
It's the
Dang.
chunkiest, gnarliest,
Okay. I gotta check
it's
it
like
out.
sung from the point of view of like a brutal killer. So check out the opening track
Yeah,
on
heck yeah,
Sledge
dude.
versus.
That's sweet.
That kind of answers Shane's
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
question. I probably have Cannibal Corpse or someone like that. I
Yeah.
love, but it'd be cool to get someone indie though, right? So I'd
Oh,
want
yeah,
to have
for sure.
like Grimfell, for example, who's in the
Heck
chat,
yeah.
like someone
Yep.
who does that genre of music. But
Yeah.
I'd love to, you know, give back, man. If
Heck yeah,
Sledge
dude.
got to make a movie, I'd hook somebody up that I would want to make the music.
Very cool. I love that. All right. So I was gonna ask about family, but I wanted to say first, your awesome girlfriend here. People were talking about the merchandise stuff, and she said
Yeah,
she's gonna get
honestly,
on
she's
that.
on it, yeah, and she's got such an awesome design sense. Like, if you go to like the website, all the imagery that I put up, that's all Anishka, man. So she makes all
Very cool.
the cool looking graphics and all the stuff. She's just a wizard with all that stuff. She wrote, yeah, so she's just awesome.
Ah,
She's like
that's awesome, dude.
the woman behind the scenes doing all the cool artistic
Oh
design
yeah.
behind it all.
Yeah, there's always a woman behind the snes, right? Any
Oh,
great man has
got
an
to any
awesome
great
woman
man
behind the scenes.
for
Yep.
sure, no question. I got the best one there is.
There you go. Shane said Sledge the musical. That would be something.
Dude, if it was a death metal musical, it would be gnarly.
Yes, that would be pretty sweet. But you mentioned earlier doing stuff with your kids. So how many kids do you have?
I got 2 kids. Well, I got kind of 4 kids because Anishka's
Okay,
got 2. So
nice.
I got Scout and Atlas, and then Milo and Edith, and they're both so Scout and Milo are both about to enter high school. They're
Okay,
12 going on 13, and Atlas and Edith are about to enter middle school here. So
okay.
they're 10 going on 11.
Oh
And yeah,
man.
we just got the best crew of kids, man. They're just stud athletes and just
Ah,
super
dude.
passionate in all
That's
aspects.
awesome,
We
man.
have such a fun family. This morning we were all I taught them how to we taught them how to play poker last night. So we got a real
Oh,
proper game of Texas Hold'em going. There's $50 in the pot from Dad, and they're hunting this money. So we have awesome an awesome game of Hold'em going right on the other side of
oh
this
man.
door.
That's awesome, dude.
We're gonna carry that on later. And yeah, we just got such a fun household for Halloween every year. We set up a haunted hallway, so we black
Okay.
out all the windows
No
and
way.
put up blood, and then we have like hanging sheets that you gotta like weave your way through, and it's
Oh, dude.
pitch black. But then we hang motion cameras in there because we have outdoor that are night vision. Just they're Eufy cameras,
Oh,
just like
dude.
in Sledge, so they can see in the dark.
That's so
So we
cool.
hang motion cameras in there,
Uh,
and then the kids hide and open the door and let people through from the neighborhood.
yeah.
And then as the people come through, the kids sneak up behind them and just scare the ever loving hell out of them. And then
Dang.
we're in the living room at the end of the hallway watching it all live on, like, we stream the cameras to the
Yeah.
TV. So then when they come through, they realize they've been like shitting themselves, pardon my language, on camera the whole time. It's so much fun. So we just did that a couple of days ago. So
Dude, that's
that
awesome.
was fun. Now we got Christmas coming up, so now it's time to
Mhm.
watch the family Christmas movies.
Oh
We
yeah.
got
Oh yeah.
classic Christmas movies. We got Die Hard, Violent Night, Krampus.
Yes.
Then we got, we like Home Alone. So we got some classic family Christmas movies that we're going to start rocking.
Ooh, you said she'll put those videos up on Insta so we can see kids. Yes, please do. That
They're
sounds
so
awesome.
good. They're so good. We got like our friend was over and he had 3 little daughters. So we have these tiny little girls in there hiding, and then people scream by and they like crawl up behind them, grab them by the leg, screaming in their ear. Oh my God, it's so much fun.
That's fantastic. Oh, that's awesome, dude. You know, it's funny when you were talking about your kids. I have 4 kids too, and my youngest daughter, her name is Edith. It's a good name.
Really? Cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. Edith's just down the hall hanging out.
Yeah, there you go.
Our Edith is she's a pet lover. I think she's basically a cat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she slinks around. She's such a cool little girl.
Oh man, kids are awesome. They're so much fun.
They're just so much fun.
Oh yeah. Are any of your kids into reading? You think they'll all read Sledge eventually?
Yeah, so Scout is, well, they're not quite old enough for
right. They can't read it yet.
Milo are big readers. Milo's a voracious reader. He learned how to read when he was, I don't know, he taught himself how to read. He was like super bored and just taught himself how to read when he was young, and he just smashes through books. So,
dude,
he'll read Sledge in an hour once he's old enough.
Oh, for sure.
They all want to read it, which is cool, but it's Sledge is for the big kids. So it's cool that he's they're not allowed yet.
Yeah, not yet. But
that's awesome. I watch some insane stuff with the kids. So
I know. Yeah. But we don't want our kids to do the same thing, even though we did it. But
exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. So what's your favorite holiday then? Because it sounds like you really love Halloween and Christmas.
Halloween, yeah. Halloween is big in our house.
It is.
We love. I mean, holidays are the best when we got kids of the right age, and just having that family vibe. My parents come for Christmas, so my parents come all the way from Minnesota. Nice. So during Christmas time, we got 3 generations in the house, and it's just so much fun to just have that like warm, loving household with the family, with the warm smells coming from the kitchen, and everyone's just has their own spot and their own space, and just loving hanging out. I still haven't gotten used to the warm, bright summers here down in the Southern Hemisphere, man.
I was going to say, what's the weather like there?
It's hot, man. It's hot. It doesn't get dark till like 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, gosh.
So if anyone's got Christmas lights, you can't even see them. You got to go out at night.
You got to stay up late just to see them.
It's not quite it. So we make our house Christmas, right? You come inside, but it's, man, we get a fresh tree, a live tree every year.
Heck yeah.
Keeping a tree alive without going brown in a warm summer house.
Yeah. Oh man,
impossible. But we fight the battle every year.
Oh yeah.
And it's so much fun.
Oh dude, that's awesome, man. That's very cool. Sounds like you have a fun household. I agree with Senna. Sounds like
man,
it's
we got a lot of fun. We got the best little crew going on, best family there is.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I just checked the time, and it's already been an hour and 20 minutes.
Dude, went fast, man. This was so much fun. So much fun. Dude.
I appreciate you coming on, dude. It's been a blast. We'll definitely do it again. We've got lots of reasons to. We got the Kickstarter coming. You got another book you're working on. Like, we'll have lots more opportunities to chat. Can't wait.
Absolutely, so much fun, man. Thank you so much for like this platform, for doing what you do. The moment I saw, your channel, your vibe, I was like, dude, this is my guy. We gotta do this. So it's been exactly as fun as anticipated, man. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank everyone who came and got into the chat, who's gotten amongst Sledge. Go back that Kickstarter team. Thank you everyone so much, man.
Yes. I'm gonna let this ticker run across the bottom for a little bit, but in the description after I get off here, I'll have the Kickstarter in there, the book links in there, so that you guys can support all that. And yes, I wanted to say thank you because when I first started this, you were one of the first, actually probably the first author that like subscribed to me. And you commented on my my like little, I don't know,
dude, I saw your
video. Like yeah.
And you just got such a cool vibe, like the color, like everything you got going, man.
Like,
that's my guy.
Yes.
That is my guy.
We've been chatting since the start of this for me, and like
that's it, man. So we're in this thing together.
Heck yeah, dude. I do.
Hell yeah, man.
I agree. So yeah, thanks everybody for being here. You guys were an awesome group. Thanks for all the awesome comments and questions. That always helps me. So it was a good time. So
awesome, man. Thank you guys so much.
And yes, you are welcome. We all support Nick. He's awesome, and we're along for the ride. We're living in his world.
Thanks for that, man.
All right. Thanks everybody for being here. Have a great rest of your weekend. As I always say, devour your TBRs, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. And back that Kickstarter if you haven't. Have a good night, everybody. Woo!